The rebellion began late in the night of June 26, 1969, when the New York City Police and the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board made a routine raid on a gay bar, the Stonewall Inn, on Christopher Street in Greenwich Village. The raid was one of 3 held on village bars in the last 2 weeks. Instead of quietly slipping away into the night, as gay men and lesbians had done for years, they resisted. Drag queens and drag kings, people of all colors, held their ground against the police. Suddenly, the paddy wagon arrived and the mood of the crowd changed. 3 of the more blatant queens in full drag were loaded inside, along with the bartender and the doorman, to a chorus of catcalls and boos from the crowd. The commotion drew more people to the area. Resistance increased. A parking meter was used to barricade the door of the Stonewall, trapping police and agents inside. The riot lasted 3 days and 3 nights, and for the first time the chant, "Gay Power," rang out. Since October 1985, when the idea was first presented at the annual conference of the International Association of Lesbian and Gay Pride Coordinators, Stonewall 25 moved from a proposal on paper to a massive human rights march and rally attended by individuals and organizations from 72 nations in all 50 United States. Not only a march and a rally, Stonewall 25 became the largest organizing tool our movement has ever seen. There were historical exhibits of all aspects of our movement at libraries, museums, and of all places at the New York City Police Headquarters. From the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force's Fight the Right Symposium to the International Lever Conference, we were gathered in New York for Stonewall 25. 9 years in planning, 9 national planning meetings, over 100 local organizing groups, thousands of volunteers, 1,000 square feet of banners, 50,000 flags, $1.2 million in cost, and 6,500 police officers. From a local street riot to a global human rights movement in just 25 years. The results were spectacular. People from all over the world were there.
Hello, I'm from Cyprus.
I'm from Japan. I'm from MCC, New York.
G'day, my name's Peter Collins. I'm from Sydney in Australia, and I'm really glad to be here.
My name is Lydia Siegel, and I'm MCC in Canada, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much for this wonderful day.
From London, England, happy Stonewall.
Greetings from queer Australia to the most fabulous Fruitopia ever assembled.
People from all over the world were there, and the world was watching.
New York City that changed American history. Hundreds of thousands marched today in memory of the Stonewall Uprising, and what began in violence 25 years ago was commemorated in peace today.
The message would reverberate throughout the day. Come out and organize.
But I think the healthiest thing that we can all do is come out.
But what powerful mainstream institutions can do for us is never as important as what we can do for ourselves.
It begins with coming out.
That is the single most important political action any gay man or lesbian can take. And when you have come out to those closest to you, come out to someone else. Make a commitment here and now to live every day telling the truth about who you really are.
If it's one thing I hope we do as a movement, it's to improve our self-esteem. What do you think, huh? I hope we really learn to love ourselves, to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy our sex, to enjoy our food, to enjoy our way of living, to accept who we are, and to come out, come out, come out, come out, come out.
One of the best things about being out is the wonderful people you meet. People like you. And not just on this special day, but every day. So if you are still in any doubt, take my advice. Come out and make today last for the rest of your life.
Gathered to march and to celebrate, from New Jersey to New Zealand, we called on the United Nations to include protections for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people in its Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Drafted in 1948 in response to the horrors of the Holocaust, the Declaration is the standard to which the nations of the world are held accountable in the area of basic human rights. We marched demanding not special rights, but our human rights, with the fight for equality crossing all borders, classes, races, and faiths.
One of our wonderful supporters, Judith Light.
I am here not as a straight woman, but as a person who believes in the dignity of every human being. I am honored to be a part of acknowledging something with so much meaning and power, not just to gays and lesbians, but to everyone. Stonewall demonstrated with dramatic purity that the only response to being abused is to stand up with pride and determination. And this community has been demonstrating lessons for all of us to learn ever since.
The day's activities began with the unfurling of Raise the Rainbow, the mile-long rainbow flag. Designed by Gilbert Baker and assisted by Richard Ferrara as a project of the Statlanders Pharmacy Foundation, the flag was a fundraiser for services for people with AIDS. Led by the Stonewall veterans and other early liberation groups, the march moved past the United Nations and through the streets of Manhattan for over 6 hours, filling the avenues of New York City.
Out of the closets into the streets! Out of the closets into the streets!
We are the movers and shakers of history. We can take the streets like today and change the world.
Look at this. Here we are, old and young, butch and femme, top and bottom, blonde and brunette, black and white Latino, and we are all together and everything's fine. Could we just do this through the year? Could we do this through the year?
We all know that this is the anniversary of Stonewall, where a group of people got together and said, enough, we're not going to take it anymore, and we're going to unite our strength, and we're going to say you're not going to beat us down, and now we have Stonewall 25. But I thought, what if they were at another bar that day? I mean, what if they were at like Fifi LaRue's? We would be commemorating the 25th anniversary of Fifi LaRue. It just doesn't sound as powerful, you know? Or the Rusty Spike. Don't forget the Rusty Spike, you know? We're here at the 25th anniversary of the Bottoms Up rally, you know? Stonewall is so much more powerful.
Now, 25 years later, courageous individuals march openly in pride marches the world over. We now march openly, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender, as people with AIDS, in places as far and wide, urban and rural, as Waco, Texas, Concord, New Hampshire, Salt Lake City, Utah, St. Petersburg, Russia, Johannesburg, South Africa, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and New York City. With the hard work of pride committees, we as a community step into the street year after year saying we are never turning back.
I think you are all doing a great job to be here and keep coming back every year. Never miss one Pride March.
Today is the day of human rights for gays and lesbians, and we want them now.
Always remember that sometimes in this now global fight for gay and lesbian rights, you have to be prepared to take to the streets, to take off your heels, to fight back and kick some ass.
The initial plan Stonewall 25 submitted to Mayor Giuliani's office included two routes, one by the United Nations and one from the Stonewall up Fifth Avenue. After several months and many meetings, the plan was rejected.
It was billed as the alternative parade. Thousands of gays and lesbians, together with members of the AIDS protest group ACT UP, marched defiantly up Fifth Avenue.
Why not? It's a Sunday afternoon, everybody else marches there, so it's a shame to have them have the same treatment as everybody else.
This is it. We have to be radical. This is the time.
The Fifth Avenue March, organized mostly by ACT UP, took place without a license. Police denied organizers a permit, saying they didn't have enough officers to handle the additional parade. But that didn't stop the marchers.
Members of ACT UP, the Gay and Lesbian Americans, Spirit of Stonewall, the Radical Fairies, and others came up Fifth Avenue. At 57th Street, the routes converged, and we proceeded into the park as one.
And in this park, as you come in, you are ushering the next great wave of lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and drag liberation movement.
Ladies and gentlemen, someone who needs no introduction, RuPaul!
Throughout the day, we sang and danced and laughed, a constant reminder that our ability to overcome the closet and the jail cell is tied to our ability to celebrate ourselves and be proud. Throughout its planning, Stonewall 25 had a special focus on AIDS and those living with HIV. The demands submitted to the UN assert that AIDS is a human rights issue.
I'm here because if you're bored hearing about AIDS, then get your ass up to a hospice and go visit and remember.
El SIDA nos ha arrebatado a muchos amigos y compañeros. A pesar de los esfuerzos, miles de hombres gay viven en soledad y en aislamiento. Nuestros gobiernos poco o nada han hecho. Incluso hay quienes afirman que el SIDA ya no es un problema para nosotros. La crisis del SIDA no ha terminado. Defendamos nuestro derecho a la salud. La justicia no podrá prevalecer mientras exista la discriminación hacia las personas que vivimos con VIH o con SIDA. En este tiempo hemos aprendido y experimentado que la unión hace la fuerza. Sigamos usando esa fuerza para modificar leyes y costumbres que nos condenan por amar como amamos. Usemos lo mejor de nosotros para levantar a los oprimidos, para dar aliento a los enfermos, para lograr la justicia que exige nuestra razón. Nadie es libre hasta que todos somos libres. Gracias.
In recognition of those lost to AIDS and violence, the march and the rally were brought to a halt for the moment of silence.
There are many people here today, but there are many who are not here today. There are many who are not here today. We must stop, stand, and remember in silence those who are not here. Please, stop, stand, and remember.
The silence was broken by the cry of rage as a torrent rolled over the crowd throughout the park and the canyons of New York. This time, however, it was a collective cry of defiance, protest, and release. Sending out the call that we will continue to remember the dead and we will fight like hell for the living.
Oh, take a moment to turn to the person who is next to you and give them a big sweaty hug right this minute. Brothers and sisters, hug, hug, hug. Isn't that the greatest feeling? Look at you all. We are incredible. It's an amazing day, and it only gets better.
Hello, gorgeous. I'm so proud to be here with all of you, my children. My loins hurt. You are so gorgeous, if only you could see what you look like from up here. You know, all my life I've wondered, why are they so scared of us? But I look out and I say, be scared, be very scared. We are stronger than any of their lies. They have to fear nothing but our love. Nobody's gonna tell me. Nobody's gonna tell me motorcycle, strap my guitar and turn outside. She's my lover, she used to be my rival, and I don't want my money back. What I know is I don't know. When I'm sure it's all they have in store. What I want is a house on you, but I'm terrible at it.
On the stage, the voices were many and from many cultures and experiences. Virtually all noted how the actions at the Stonewall Inn 25 years ago are still being felt today.
We bring you a message from lesbian and gay people in South Africa. Our new constitution contains a clause in the Bill of Rights prohibiting discrimination on grounds of sexual orientation. South Africa is the first country in the world to have such a clause in the constitution. And this is a great breakthrough for gays and lesbians internationally and particularly in Africa. We recognize that this would never have been possible had it not been for the events of Stonewall 25 years ago. The event here in New York made it possible for gays and lesbians to come out of the closet and begin the long struggle to take place in our society. Viva gay rights in the new South Africa! Viva!
I bring you warm greetings from the Pinoy queer movement of Filipino gay men, lesbians, bisexual, and transgendered people from the Philippines. Sa mga kapwa bakla at lesbiana, mabuhay. To our fellow gay men and lesbians, long live. We in the Philippines are separated by 25 years and thousands of miles from Stonewall, but Stonewall has captured the imagination of emerging Filipino gay communities.
Fellow dykes and gay brothers, after Dublin, the city in the world with the most Irish people is New York. It's a great privilege in front of this astonishing crowd to bring greetings and thanks from my Irish sisters and brothers. Other countries in Europe, as you know, had lesbian and gay campaigning groups in the 1950s and 1960s. But they too gained enormous energy from the Stonewall Revolution. In Ireland, that revolution was the beginning of everything. And this year we celebrate 20 years of our own movement. We do so now with an equal criminal law for everyone. For the energy that Stonewall gave us, we are hugely grateful.
Although we've come a long way, there is still much to overcome.
In Italy, fascists are now part of the government and have already called for concentration camps for homosexuals. In Germany, young Nazis set fire to homes and murder. Let us be vigilant. No concession, no peace with fascism and bigotry, no pasaran.
The SM leather fetish community is currently under attack in England in a threat to all of us. In what has become known as the Spanner case, 8 men were convicted and served lengthy jail terms for consensual adult sexual activity. No complaints had been filed, no injuries sustained, no one victimized. Indeed, half the men were charged with assault, and the other half, those the police alleged to have suffered the assaults, were charged as accessories because they had consented. We are not done fighting this outrage. The Spanner case is on appeal to the European Court of Human Justice. It is our last chance for justice. English police have already used the Spanner verdict to justify more bar raids and individual harassment. If we lose this appeal, the right to privacy for all of us will be in jeopardy.
Our community is under attack by the radical right at every level of our lives. On college campuses, in school boards, with stealth candidates, removing positive images from our libraries and erasing our history, all while waging anti-gay ballot initiatives in 7 states across this country. Homophobia, fueled by the organizing of the radical right, has allowed the continuation of the AIDS epidemic, and the future holds no cure. Homophobia, fueled by the lies of the radical right, allows violence and discrimination to continue to be a major threat to our lives. Today we are called into action, and we will organize for our lives because our lives depend on it.
Yes, it has been a long and arduous struggle. It is not over yet. There is still a lot of prejudice among black South Africans. Many believe that homosexuality is not an African culture. Look at me. I am black and I'm gay. And there are many other black people in the townships of Sharpeville, Soweto, and Guguletu, and any other townships in South Africa. They will be joining me.
We are the Stonewall survivors.
Please welcome.
We will not forget nor allow ourselves to be forgotten.
Well, on that night, we took part in a series of events over several nights that have since become known as the Stonewall Rebellion. After centuries of unending oppression and extermination, those of us inside and all the people on the outside, including some non-gay supporters, fought the oppression that was going on. The difference with Stonewall was the era it took place in. And what some of us did to continue the resistance, that occurred over the 5 nights some 25 years ago. We would not be ignored then, and we will not be ignored now.
Only 10 years ago, the Pride Parade in Omaha, Nebraska had less than 60 people who marched at night with masks and bags on their heads. This year, we had a record number of marchers in Omaha, Nebraska, 325 proud and beautiful people. They and people like them are pioneers. And we cannot forget the pioneers in the even less populated areas of our state and many other states. People living in towns of 20,000, 5,000, 1,000 people, and even less. These people live each day with fear, and yet they have the courage to stay and persist with little support and little resources. We salute them and are inspired by them. So New York and the world, hello from Nebraska and hello from the heartland. We are here in New York today, but we'll soon be home again. In your struggles and in your everyday life, remember us. We are quiet often, but we possess a quiet strength within this country. Remember that. We are holding strong in Nebraska and holding strong in the heartland.
Go now into the world and take the message. We're a force to be dealt with. We're on the move. We have something outstanding to contribute to society, and we are everywhere.
I bring you my greetings from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I bring you the love and the warmth and the joys of the Pacific. And most of all, I bring you our thanks, New York, Stonewall. We are here today to reclaim our place of honor. As people of the Pacific, as people of this planet's First Nations, whose traditions of same-sex love and transgender love enhanced the community and articulated clarity and vision for the people. Our mountains, our skies, our rivers, our landscapes, they remember us. They remember our reality. Though we have been vilified and decimated, hated and denied, though our own people, our own families have been taught by the colonizer to hate us, we have survived. We continue to be chanters, art makers, dancers, storytellers, seers, composers, healers, and dream weavers, shamans for the people. We exist, we thrive, we rejoice, we mourn, and we're here today to reclaim our place of honor. Kia ora koutou.
We are family. We are all brothers and sisters. The global implications of your being here today, and this is global, are tremendous. The march does not end here. You will take home with you the compassion, the camaraderie, the commitment to continue our fight against all oppression. You will take home our pride, our hope, and our love. you will take home the certainty that you are not alone, and the future is ours and we will be free.
The thoughts and views of some challenge the perspectives of all.
While we applaud many of our leaders and the progress that has been made, we ask you, at what price? In our rush to be accommodating and more accepted by the heterosexual world and society, we have become, in many ways, just like them. We are fast becoming a community of classified ads. No fats, femmes, old, or blacks need to reply.
But although there is much joy and celebration today, I have come to make an angry statement. What I really want to talk about today is what we do to each other. My worst experience this week came Tuesday night at the so-called comedy event hosted by Sandra Bernhard. To my horror, Sandra's theme was how ugly, stupid, and unfashionable lesbians are. Sandra said we should grow out our hair, dress more fashionably, and lose weight if we want to be accepted. But the most disturbing part of all this was that Sandra was cheered by gay white men in the audience. It turned my stomach. So I'm here to say to every man who thinks and acts like that, don't you get it? Do you really think you can continue your racism and sexism and elitism and get anywhere in this world? I call myself an activist because I am dedicated to principles of valuing the intrinsic worth of every human being. I am looking for a movement dedicated to true feminist principles. Why do we, who have been so oppressed, want to oppress others? I remain committed and optimistic and ready to fight, but I am not tolerating any more racism or sexism from gay white men. Thank you.
Come. Where will we all be when they come? And they will come. They will come because we are defined as opposite, perverse, and we are perverse. Every time we watched a queer hassled in the street and said nothing, it was an act of perversion. Every time we lied about the boyfriend or girlfriend at coffee break, it was an act of perversion. Every time we heard, I don't mind gays, but why must they be so blatant and said nothing, it was an act of perversion. Every time we let a lesbian mother lose her child and did not fill the courtrooms, it was an act of perversion. Every time we let straights make out in our bars because we couldn't touch because of laws, it was an act of perversion. Every time we put on the proper clothes to go to a family wedding and left our lovers home, it was an act of perversion. Every time we heard who I go to bed with is my personal choice, it's personal, not political, and said nothing, it was an act of perversion. Every time we let straight relatives bury our dead and push our lovers away, it was an act of perversion. They will come for us because we are perverts. And it won't matter if you're homosexual and not a faggot, lesbian and not a dyke, bisexual and not queer. It won't matter if you own your own business or have a good job or if you're on motherfucking SSI. It won't matter if you black, Chicano, Native American, Asian, or white. It won't matter if you from
from New York or Los Angeles, Galveston or Sioux Falls. It won't matter if you butch or femme or not in the roles, monogamous, non-monogamous. It won't matter if you Catholic, atheist, Baptist, Jewish, or MCC. They will come. They will come to the cities and to the land and to your front rooms and in your closets. They will come for the perverts. And where will you be when they come?
We were encouraged to take the Stonewall rally home with us.
Make no mistake, for us to gather as we have this week to show our strength so publicly, for us to dance in the streets and hold our games and our parties and our banners and our lovers' hands is wonderful for us. But it is a red flag to the intolerant haters of our world. And we make a serious error if we underestimate the strength of their reaction to our displays. We cannot go home after an event like this and let the euphoria dribble away. We need to do something. Make a commitment here and now to join a gay and lesbian organization, to participate in your community's events, to write letters to your local and national elected officials, urging them to support fairness and equality for lesbians and gays. Get involved and be visible. Please take the joy and the energy you have received here home with you. Use it to inspire you to do whatever you can to make a difference, because you not only can make a difference, you will and you must.
We encouraged each other to keep our fight and courage alive.
Hi, everybody. It's not New York the greatest. Thank you. Feedback. Living on the edge of feedback. That's my style. I wrote down a few thoughts because I've been thinking about you so much. And you're always in my heart, and you know that. Okay, this 25-year commemoration of Stonewall is a time to look back and to remember and to live and to act, and a time to face tomorrow with hope and trust and conviction. This commemoration also marks a significant year for me. It's 25 years exactly since my mama died. To Central Park. From 1969 to 1994, we have all come a long way. I've watched and I've admired the gay community that implores people of the world to take care of themselves, to take care of each other. I've watched in awe the integrity of the community that invented and demanded safe sex. And because of days like today, the governments are starting to hear, because the people of the world understand that the reality is we must find a cure for AIDS. We must. I'll do something. I will sing this song for you whenever you need me to. If you will do something for me. The next time there's a rally or a march, I want to hear you singing it. And keep singing it. And keep singing it. Someday we'll be free. I promise you we'll be free. If not tomorrow, then the day after that. And the candles in our hand will illuminate this land. after that. And the world that brings us pain, that fills our lives with fear, on the day after that will disappear. And the war we fought to win, I promise you we will win. If not tomorrow, then the day after that, or the day after that. Someday we'll be free. I promise you we'll be free. If not tomorrow, then the day after that. And the candles in our hands will illuminate this land. If not tomorrow, then the day after that. And the world that brings us pain, that fills our lives with fear, on the day after that will disappear. And the war we fought to win, I promise you we will win. If not tomorrow, then the day after that, or the day after Someday we'll be free. I promise you we'll be free. If not tomorrow, or the day after that, and the candles in our hand will illuminate this land. If not tomorrow, or the day after that, and the world that brings us pain, that fills our lives with fear, on the day after that will disappear.
Stonewall 25 was the first day of our global liberation movement. The next day, out around the world, focused on the injustices of several countries. Comprehensive meetings were arranged between individuals and their ambassadors to the UN. Hundreds came together in a nonviolent march, street theater, and a civil disobedience action. Japan was targeted for its oppression of lesbians. England was cited in protest over its unequal age of consent laws. Brazil for its widespread murder of drag and transgender persons. And Russia in protest of psychiatric torture of lesbians. The United States was targeted for the HIV immigration ban. South Africa was lauded for the inclusion of sexual orientation as a protected status under its new constitution. The success of Stonewall 25 would not be judged by how many attended, but by the ripples that it created.
When we are made invisible, we are rendered powerless. A key to this is a word we have lost from our vocabulary over the last 25 years, and that is the glorious word liberation.
wrapping our pride and our protest. So now, I want all of you in this city, on the count of 3, to scream in one long scream, liberation! 1, 2, 3, liberation! Louder! 1, 2, 3, liberation! One last time, and this time scream for the forgotten voices of our history. Scream for the voices in the jail cells. Scream for the voices in our hospitals. Scream for the voices in the graves. And scream for those important voices in the closets. 1, 2, 3, liberation! We are never turning back. We will never be powerless. We will never be invisible again. Thank you.
Pay no attention to the choir behind the curtain.
I like to remember what the great writer Grace Paley once said, and that is that the mainstream is wide and shallow and slow moving. It's the tributaries where the fun is.
We have created a massive, non-violent, worldwide revolution, and good for us.
I think straight people are just crabby because they don't have their own parade.
Actually, it's a rainbow full-body condom.
Is so stiff in the outfit department here, isn't it?
Today it is my privilege and honor to bestow my coveted Diamond Award for distinguished work in the art and science of wig making. Yeah, I feel particularly privileged to bestow this award because my own mother would not know me without my wearing a wig. Yeah. So who better than I to give this award? Now, today my Diamond Award goes to the founder of the Wigstock Festival, which it celebrates its 10th anniversary this year, and my Diamond Award goes to my friend Lady Bunny.
We're the kids of gays and love-scene parents, and we're happy to be here, and we're proud of our parents, and we're proud of you.
I love New York in June. How about you?